Okay, Miss Molina, now you can do the roll call, please, ma'am.
Alderman Neuendorf,
Present.
Alderman Taylor, Alderman McAnally,
Present.
Mayor Branch,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hill,
Present.
Alderman Branch. We do have a quorum.
I guess we can do a little skipping around.
Do public comments before we can move.
Yeah, I know, but we'll do a little skipping around. Okay, next, we'll skip down to agenda item number 5, public comments. And for this afternoon, we have one signed in so far, which is Mr. Sanders.
I can wait for that agenda item, or I can talk now.
That's up to you.
Which would you prefer?
Talk during the agenda item.
That's fine.
You'll wait.
It'll be more.
We want to go ahead. Yeah. Officers is not here, right? What about the proclamation?
Let's ask Miller or Chief Hines.
Ms. Jennifer, we've talked about skipping around, so, which,
Why don't y'all go ahead and do the proclamation? Carrie's proclamation.
Huh?
Carrie's proclamation.
well, I thought they was, didn't you say you had other officers coming?
Those were swearing in.
Yeah, I know,
They're
I
around.
know. Okay, well, if that's what, if you want to do that now, Chief, you go ahead.
Carrie, you wanna come up?
Come on up, sir.
Lieutenant Avery's retiring. 40 years of service with the city. So we're here to honor him today. And I want to read this proclamation from the city of Brookshire. Lieutenant Carey, whereas it is with great honor and deep gratitude that we recognize the exemplary service and unwavering dedication of Lieutenant Carey Avery to the Brookshire Police Department, and whereas Lieutenant Avery has dutifully served the Brookshire community since 1980, demonstrating an unyielding commitment to uphold the principles of law enforcement and safeguard the safety and well-being of its residents. And whereas throughout his distinguished tenure, Lieutenant Avery has served in various capacities within the Brookshire Police Department, starting as a reserve officer and progressing through the ranks to patrol officer, sergeant, captain, and finally to the esteemed position of lieutenant. And whereas Lieutenant Avery's leadership, integrity, and professionalism have set a standard of excellence within the department, inspiring his colleagues and earning the respect of all those with whom he has served. And whereas Lieutenant Avery's contributions have significantly contributed to the enhancement of public safety and the betterment of the Brookshire community, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of its residents. Now therefore be it proclaimed that on this day, the 15th of February, 2024, we express our deepest appreciation and heartfelt gratitude to Lieutenant Carey Avery for his outstanding service, dedication, and sacrifice to the Brookshire Police Department and the community it serves. We commend Lieutenant Avery for his unwavering commitment to the principles of justice, integrity, and service, and we extend our best wishes for a well-deserved retirement filled with joy, fulfillment, and prosperity. In witness thereof, I hereby set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Brookshire to be affixed on this 15th day of February in the year 2024. Mayor Darrell Branch, Mayor, City of Brookshire. Congratulations, Lieutenant. You wanna hold this? Do that all the time. Captain, can you get up there real quick?
Are you gonna take a picture?
Shane, why don't you get in there and I'll take a picture?
Yes.
Take a picture of him.
Somebody's gotta make these three look good.
Well, I didn't come prepared for that.
like to say anything?
I think
I
Daryl wanted a
wanted
picture.
to say,
Oh,
thank you,
Daryl.
Mayor.
Daryl's coming, are you coming to take a picture? Okay.
I work for,
Lieutenant, what did you want to say?
Well, you're gonna take a
Okay.
I worked for Lieutenant Avery for many, many days. We fought, we were friends, we compromised. What?
I mean,
No, we'll get to you on that.
Mayor
Bishop.
Branch, I appreciate it. Members of City Council and anybody, Chief Hines and Captain Miller, and anybody else has something to do with this, I appreciate the whole thing. Thank you.
Officer Chapman? If you send some pictures over to Cheryl Rogers at the Brookshire News, I'm sure she'll put those up on Facebook today too.
So we have three, we have the two officers, and then we have a proclamation, and we're still waiting on those individuals.
So we want to continue to
We can continue.
workshop.
To consent.
No, do consent order. Can we go to consent? Okay, yeah, we can go to consent.
To what?
We don't do the
To
workshop.
what number?
Yeah, but we can just jump, we don't
Okay.
wanna have to stop in the middle.
Sure.
We can, you can go to consent.
Consent? Okay, next item we're going to do is number 9, the consent agenda. Items listed on the consent agenda are considered routine and are generally enacted in one motion. The exception to this rules occurs when a council member requests one or more items removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion and action. First, we have letter A, minutes from February 1st, 2024, of the regular council meeting. B, we have minutes from February 6th workshop. C, we have bills paid reported January the 1st, 2024, and through February 9th, 2024. Municipal courts records and public works report.
Just one question before we move forward. The updated version we received is to replace the version that's currently in the packet, is that correct?
Yes. It just adds some more detail about their activities for Public Works.
All right, due to our quorum, can we vote on A, C, D, and E, and then come back to B? I was not present for B.
You wanna pull B.
Pull B to vote after the initial. So I make a motion to approve.
Did you need to discuss it?
I don't need to, I just
He
wasn't
just wanted to
present, so I
abstain since he wasn't
can't vote
present.
for it. So it might be cleaner to do everything else and then separate vote just for that item. Unless the mayor wants to do differently. So make a motion, we approve the consent agenda with the exception of agenda item B, or 9B.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then if one of y'all wants to make the motion on
Then I would
9B.
move that we approve item B, minutes for February 6th workshop.
Second.
Okay.
Does that require the mayor's vote for that B?
No, because it's 2-1.
Would be 2 and then an abstention?
Mm-hmm, still a majority of the quorum present.
Okay.
Amanda, do you want me to leave?
What's that?
So do you want me to leave?
Can't tell you how much I love parliamentary procedure.
It's just a point of order. I just wanted to be sure that it was clear. I asked the question more for clarification so it would be on the record than anything else.
Okay, let's move on. We're going to number 10, new business.
Did y'all vote?
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
Oh, you did?
Did you?
I moved, she seconded, he abstains. So,
Well, the vote wasn't called for.
oh,
You yeah.
I didn't, ma'am.
Vote was not called for.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard it.
I did too.
That's my fault.
We call for the vote on that one then.
So, Mayor, do you want to ask for any abstentions? So,
To the last motion.
You didn't call for it, but I'm
Yeah.
abstaining.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Now, can we go to number 10? New business. Discussion and consider approval
What?
of,
Ken?
what?
Go ahead, keep going.
Discussion and consider approval of contract with Waller County for election services for May 4th, 2024 general election. You do them one at a time or just go all the way down?
I would know, just do one at a time, we'll do this one and then we'll jump back up to our public comment.
Okay. I make a motion we approve the contract with Waller County for election services for the May 4th, 2024 general election.
Second.
Man,
I'm sorry.
you're
I'm
fast
sorry.
on the trigger today.
All in favor?
Aye.
Letter B, discuss and consider approval to adopt.
Mayor, we are going to go back up to public comments. We can't discuss B until we have our workshop.
We don't have but one person that's in public comment except for Mr. Sanders, and he's,
Oh, no, we have. the
we were going to add
proclamation.
the proclamation for,
okay, we're going back to public comments.
Is Mr. Saunders' comment for agenda item 8?
10.
he's for 10C, he would like to speak during the agenda. So
10, oh,
we're
for
going back up.
10C or 10B?
10C, I'm sorry, 10C.
Okay.
Isn't that correct?
So
Okay,
at this point, we're moving to public comments for the proclamation.
No, because apparently she has people that are coming and they're not here yet because. they
Okay.
told us
That's
that.
partly, okay.
So do we need to move to agenda item 8 and begin the workshop and then discuss, then stop mid-workshop or what?
We have our candidates here, our swearing-ins, so we can go to our swearing-ins now.
both of them?
6.
Yeah.
Both of them? Okay.
Okay,
So 6.
gonna be a long night.
See, this is a confusing agenda, so I apologize, folks, we're kind of taking things as they come tonight.
I think I
Okay.
started it, so I apologize too.
It wasn't
Agenda
you.
item number 6, swearing in of Brookshire Police Officer Alex Kalen and Christopher Diaz.
Gentlemen, come up.
Axel, I'm
Castaneda.
sorry, not Alex.
You got your uniform.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I state your name.
Christopher Diaz, Castaneda.
Do solemnly swear or affirm. Do solemnly swear or affirm. That I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of police officer.
Shay.
That I will faithfully. Execute the duties. Of the office of police officer. Of the state of Texas. And will to the best of my ability. Preserve. Protect. And defend the Constitution and laws. Of the United States. And of this state. So help me God.
Congratulations.
We're
Congratulations.
just getting older and older. We're gonna go with the.
Welcome, we're
first
so
one.
glad to have you aboard.
And then I'll yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay, now,
Like every year, whenever I watch some sort of sporting event and I see people like the Super Bowl that play for the 49ers, I'm like, this kid looks like he's 15.
Oh, pretty.
Pretty. Thank you. And I'm like,
I swear he's recruited at the high school.
maybe. Or they just have really good skincare.
We sure can.
Take a 5-minute break. I'm gonna go take
okay, we'll take a recess until further notice,
5-minute recess?
whatever. I'm so confused and lost now, I don't know where the hell to go.
Those guys look so young. Am I just getting that
That's
old?
'cause they are, you know. They just And we have listed on public comments, Mr. Warthall.
Good evening. Thank you for adding me to public comments. Mayor, council, first of all, my name is Chris Walthall. I'm a citizen of this community, have been for 27 plus years. I live at 3503 5th Street. I'm also the mosquito control contractor. I have been contracting with the city for 7 plus years. My first comment's about abandoned, dumped, and abused stray dogs and cats that litter our city. The problem with has been one that has been for many years. Many of them get dumped in our city, close to dumpsters. People that dump them think that they can get food and live around these dumpsters. I live just behind Brookshire Brothers, and many of the cats are dumped over here at Brookshire Brothers. So the city needs to consider to create a plan to properly control births for multiple litters of cats. In the past 27 years, my family and friends of my family, through rescues, we have neutered and spaded approximately 40 plus cats. But as you know, even though that they're spayed, more get dumped, and we get new litters, multiple litters. If you're not familiar with it, neutered cats and spayed cats all have clipped ears. What happens is when they get taken to the vet takes a little piece of the ear and cuts it off at the top. So if you see any cats like this, those cats have already been spayed and neutered. The plan needs to be something where the cats are trapped, vetted, and then released back into the community, or even put up for adoption or fostering. The other thing that comes to mind is because I spend lots of hours on our streets. When I do my services for the city, I see many, many abused, strayed dogs tied on chains, ropes. They hide them in the backyards of these homes where you can't see them from the road. They don't have any shelter. There are laws that have been passed by the state of Texas, and some of these laws need to be enforced. The pets, if these citizens can't take care of their pets in the proper way, they don't need to have these pets. These dogs need to have shelter, limited chain time, and water readily available. These are all in the law.
I need to ask you to kind of wrap it up because you're at your 3-minute mark.
I was just fixing to do that.
Secondly, mosquito control program. I asked that I be added to the March council meeting. We need a larvicide. We need to talk about standing stagnant water throughout the city. Mosquitoes are active right now. Increased temperatures lead to high mosquito pressure. We need to begin larviciding in the 60-day program, mosquito fog weekly, and I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Now we want to do the other proclamation. Okay. We have another proclamation. Deliver. Good afternoon to all of y'all. Yes.
Come on forward. I know everybody seems like everybody whispering tonight, huh? I'm gonna talk loud here. I got a chance to talk to Jennifer, kind of plug some in my ear anytime the city or anybody gets a chance to do something positive, be part of something. We encourage it, and this is a good example of being part of extending and being part of something good. Pastor Barley here is local. She's been here for a while. When I'm gonna use the word while, but she might tell you her age. I'm not gonna learn that better, not to express people's latest age. But it is just an honor and privilege. We, with the MLK committee and celebration, we have created another chance to get out and reach out into the community and do something positive. And this award that she's going to receive on this weekend, this is just a step here that the proclamation is going to be presented from the city to her. So we do appreciate the city, the mayor, and the council for presenting this award, but this again is something positive. We want to continue to be a positive group. This weekend is going to be a great example of the works that we're going to continue to put into this community and supporting you all as a council and mayor and so forth. So this proclamation is definitely fitting, and we appreciate it.
This is a proclamation on the behalf of the city of Brookshire. Whereas Dr. Blanche Barley has served in ministry for over 40 years, serving in all areas impacting the Christian body. Whereas Dr. Blanche Barley is the founder and president of Bountiful House of Blessings Christian Center of Brookshire, Texas. Dr. Barley had the church filled with God's presence every time the church doors opened. And whereas she is also the founder and president of Houston West Greater Faith Association, a spiritual covering for other pastors and ministry leaders. And whereas Dr. Blanche Barley is the founder and president of Daughters of Zion Ministries, a ministry that enables women of all ages, races, and backgrounds to heal mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and financially, helping women lose all infirmities. Now, therefore, I, Darrell Branch, Mayor of the City of Brookshire, hereby present this proclamation to Dr. Barley for dedication and devoted services in the ministry.
May I say a word?
Yes, ma'am.
Amen. I do give praises to God, for he says every good and perfect gift comes from above. And so I want to thank you, Mayor, and the council for allowing us to do this and to give this honor to me. I am so elated. And thank God for this, and bless all of you, and continue the work that you're doing. You're doing a great work, and continue the work. This work, the Bible says that we have to work out our own soul salvation, plus everything else he gives us in government and every part. We pray for you every morning. We pray for all that are in authority. He says that we may live a good and a quiet and a peaceable life. So we pray for you every morning at 5 o'clock. And God bless you. Thank you so much. And also for Mayor Woods and the I-10 MLK committee. They do a great job. And I see the mayor over there, and also Jeremiah Hill, different ones over there helping with that. And that helps us to celebrate our history. And we thank God for you, and continue the work. Don't let anybody stop you. It's a great work. So don't let anybody stop you. Continue it. And Mayor Woods, I thank God for him. I call him Mayor Woods because he is not the mayor now, but he has been. And he did a lot of good things for the city. And I thank God for him having a vision to continue to work it. Amen. Come on, give the Lord a praise.
It's a little toasty in here. It's hot in here. I'm hot. Yeah.
Where are we going now? Okay, thank you, Pastor Boyd, for the many years of service that you provided us and stuck by us. And I hope you keep on doing what you're doing. Okay, agenda item number 8, workshop. Letter A, discussion adopting a home rule charter.
I received the edited version, and Thank you for addressing my concerns about the 3 years and how that works with odds and evens for voting. So I know that was a challenge to get all of that verbiage. Well, it it appeared several times and in kind of mysterious places throughout the charter. So I know it was a challenge to get there and find them all and get them corrected. But I think this makes it cleaner and more correct. So I did notice one place in here that we, are we changing from a weak mayor to a strong mayor position as a home rule? I noticed we struck that the mayor would not have a vote except for ties. We struck that language.
Because it's somewhere else. It's just redundant.
Okay, so it was just, that is a duplicate? Oh, okay.
But I'll double check it. And also, I don't know if you realize, Tony, there's only like 5 cities in the state of Texas that truly have a strong mayor.
I know that, that's why I was surprised that it was in there, so.
City, Pasadena, Fort Worth, I mean, they're much more out of our realm.
Yeah, that's why I was surprised. I didn't realize it was a duplicate.
Privilege of the vote, the mayor shall be entitled to vote only upon a time.
And which, I'm sorry, what was that?
Section 5, the privilege of vote.
Section 5.
It had its own section, so I just.
Got it, okay. So it didn't need to be repeated? Okay. And just as a matter of transparency, most of the language on the term limits, that is language that I personally suggested for this, so I'm not opposed if other people have edits they would like to make to that, or if you want to change it or suggest different things that are in there.
No, I had on my list of requests was to add in term limits as well, and so I think with what you proposed, I think is fine. In case anybody would like to know, it's 3 consecutive terms would be a term limit, so that would in essence be 9 total years for consecutive term.
And it's term limits to the same positions for 9 years, and then an overall 12-year limit. So even if somebody
Correct.
served in multiple positions, they would still have a 12-year limit before they would have to be
Step
off
off.
cycle for at least 3 years, and then they would be eligible to be reelected again after they were off for that time period.
Correct.
I think the way I have it written is that they just have to be off for one election cycle when.
Oh, just one election cycle, a year.
I think it says 1 annual, so
Okay.
I wouldn't be opposed to that being off for 1 term.
Yeah, that, I believe the intent was to make that 1 term, so it'd be a 3 years off council before they could. That's what you're proposing as well?
Yes, I would prefer to see that 1 term. Can I have some clarification also on? Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm directing. It's section 2, but it's under Article 4, section 2.
Term and term limits?
Correct. So as a person who's become ineligible to serve pursuant to the section shall not be eligible to be elected or appointed to a place on the council, including mayor, without having first been off of council, including mayor, for at least 1 annual election cycle, after which such person shall regain eligibility for office if otherwise eligible under this charter. So that is, I mean, is it clarifying though that, like, if there was some reason why somebody would not be eligible to run, that would kind of supersede whatever this is saying
Yeah,
in legal speak?
yeah, well,
Okay.
actually, this was, most of his language on this
Right.
section, so,
So the intent was if for some other reason they were barred from the charter from being eligible, that
Right.
they would continue to remain ineligible.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that's clear. Like, if for whatever reason, if somebody was ineligible, that they would continue to remain ineligible regardless of what this is stating.
Correct.
Am I
right.
reading that correctly? Okay.
And I thought of that as well, and I wanted to be able to have our city secretary point to the charter if she's gonna tell someone they're ineligible.
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's what I just want to clarify.
Clear. On page 6. The way you guys had it, it would still require, 4 to be at a special meeting. I didn't know if you wanted to take that out, so I wanted to just bring that to your attention. Do you want, when you call a special meeting,
So we're required by law now to have this 3 and 4, but as a home rule, we could just eliminate that.
For special meetings.
Just for special, or you can pick it for
Right.
both, but you could just make quorum the same regardless of regular or special.
Now, how would that affect?
I see pros and cons to both.
I do too.
I mean, I know that we've had some difficulties in the past of having special meetings because of the lack of the supermajority quorum. But then I also see the benefit of keeping it a supermajority so that somebody can't just call a special meeting in order to like shove a piece of business through because somebody can't be present. So I'm not opposed to keeping it as 4, but if anybody else has any other opinions to share on it, please.
My thoughts would be for meetings that require supermajority, for like, let's say removal of the department head, how that be affected by a 3-person quorum. The vote couldn't be held, I would assume.
Right, yeah, you'd have to, in like budget meetings.
Right.
you'd have to have
Just
quorum,
couldn't be a
so
special meeting.
Yep.
You could still have the meeting, we just wouldn't be able to pass any,
Correct.
couldn't do those.
we couldn't do any motions because there wouldn't be enough votes.
Correct.
I feel like it's probably something that should just be left then at 4.
I'm not opposed to it being, to continue with the supermajority. I think it offers some protection for, as you were saying, for people trying to do shenanigans if they.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of like a,
What do we find with, other cities? What's their kind of take on this? It's kind of hit and miss.
I think there's a good safeguard in keeping it 4 for that exact reason. I mean, we've had that before in our own city where special meetings were called because they knew certain people couldn't attend. And with it, I mean, I think it's a good safety measure to put in. And also you're not abusing the ability to call a special meeting because of the special meeting you require a supermajority.
right.
And of course, if it becomes a big issue and we can change it in a couple
In
of
2
years.
years, you can change it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would say let's leave that in.
The only other question that I had was that there was a notation made that if, can leave if going with 5 seats on page 3. So is this stating that you can change council to have more than 5 seats?
You can, but if, and you can leave those, I just, if in the front, we say what our, how many we have,
Right.
what our quorum is, I don't wanna add extra words.
Nope, yep.
But if you guys like it, we can leave it, and if we're sticking with 5, then it's all the same.
Oh, I don't mind about, whether the wording stays there or somebody else, but I just wanted to clarify, I guess, that we're all in agreement that we're staying with 5 council seats.
Mr. Saunders, I know you worked on the committee that did this last time. What was the determining factor for just staying at 5 instead of moving to 7 or bigger council?
You got enough seats, so.
Based on the other charters we were looking at, the surrounding cities were all the same.
Okay, so just,
Except for Houston has 18.
right.
Ugh,
Right.
that would be a nightmare.
And some of the cities that they did look at in the way that they were modeling this have changed, have done those charter amendments and have gone up to 7, but that comes with exponential population.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Right. Right.
So
If you
usually
look at it
when
of
you get
roughly,
up-
like, each member represents 1,000
typically
population,
when you get
or,
to 20,000 is when you look at
give it a
going from
change.
5 to 7.
I gotcha. So we're not there yet.
And at what point would we want to start considering things like, I don't know what they call it, but where the place is tied to a certain geographical district?
Zoning, or not, excuse me, districting.
Call them
Districting.
Districts or wards.
Yeah, and what size does that usually start to become?
I mean, you see big cities that are
Beginning.
still all at large, and
Mhm.
you see some general law cities that are, do it by district or ward. You really have to do a comprehensive dive into voting patterns throughout your city, because what happens in some cities is they have particular districts or wards within the city where you have such a low voter registration and turnout that it becomes almost a task to find somebody if you're not just outright appointing somebody to sit in that position, and you don't ever wanna get into that position that you don't have 5 people who are truly wanting to
Mhm.
be public servants.
And then you also have to keep in mind that you have to redistrict every 10 years. And that can become a challenge whenever you go to redraw the boundary lines. We just saw that happen with Waller County last year, or the year before.
Mr. Sanders, did your committee consider that at all? Did you look at?
No, the only, well, Katie, Katie, back when I was on city council, Katie Popper's population was under 13,000, and they had the AB ward, and then everybody else was at large. So I'm not sure if size of the population is a determining factor. This is, I guess, the preference of whoever's the city council determining we're gonna have, the city gonna be divided into these guys are gonna represent this side.
Was it something that your committee considered, looked at, and just said, hey, it's not for us now, or was it,
Yeah, we talked about briefly, nobody was.
nobody was really for it? Okay. And I'm not sensing that that's a big issue. Has anybody else heard anything? I mean, I haven't heard citizenry or anybody really
I think it just even
clamoring.
geographically of our city, I mean, what are we like, how many square miles is our city? Is it 5 or is it up to 7? I don't remember. I mean, that's,
You got some more space.
I think we annexed a little bit more space.
But there are
But-
areas of that that you don't have a residential
Right.
space. It's more industrial, so you're not gonna pull a voter
So without,
from that area.
You're right.
so without zoning, I mean, it's almost like putting the cart before the horse.
And
Well,
keep in
zoning's
mind,
separate.
Ideally, and
from
Bridget
that.
and I have talked about this with Justin at length. The idea with it, I'm sure Mr. Sanders can, y'all discuss this at length when y'all are working on this. The idea isn't to come in and pass a home rule charter and it be so ironclad and every single thing is covered from the get-go, because your city is going to grow. You're going to grow into a lot of policies, procedures, and just structural changes that a home rule charter encompasses. And districting or wards might be one of those things. So that's the beauty of passing something that statutorily covers and protects your city, but doesn't pigeonhole you into some sort of process that your city's not quite at.
Mhm.
So you start with something that covers you and protects you, but still gives you room to grow, so that a year into this home rule, you start your home rule charter review committee, where when you hit that year 2, you can go to an election, at your election cycle, and update anything that you haven't covered, or maybe you have had a drastic demographic change. You can change some of that, you can add things. That's, these things definitely are living documents that have a lifespan. So don't think we're not gonna have everything covered going in, from the beginning. And that just might be one of the.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just was wondering if there was language that we might want to consider that would make it easier in the future to move into a districting type of, without having as much, required as far as changing the charter. But if it's not something that's a huge deal, then we don't need to worry about it.
It's just
And I
a
recognize
charter.
this charter is not what we're gonna vote on tonight. This charter is simply a draft stepping stone that we have to get through within the next month. I'm just discussing.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
and those are definitely things that we can continue to explore. Like I said, there's a lot of cities that are 3 times our size, home rule, and they're all still at large. Then we have some that are smaller that, do have it broken up into specific, voting demographic areas, and it works for them.
But just for clarification, this would be a charter amendment that would be proposed and then placed on a ballot for the public to
In the
vote
future,
on
yeah.
if it was something that, okay.
Council would only discuss
Mhm.
and approve the change.
Yep.
It would go to a vote to go on the election, and then the general population has to vote on.
Yes, I wanted to clarify that for public record, so people didn't think that it was just a decision made by council in the future and it just happened. Like, no, the whole purpose of the charter is that this is truly the will of the people. It's voted on by the people, changes are made by the people.
Mr. Hill, you were awfully silent tonight. You've had some strong
you have
opinions on
something?
this home rule in the past. Anything you want to add?
I mean, I think our city needs to be districted at some point. We don't have the data points at this point to
Like,
really
yeah,
make
yeah.
that call. I look at it as something's better than nothing. Term limits absolutely need to be addressed. The basic language in here, I think, is enough to take to the voters. There's already some miscommunications out there that will have to be addressed.
Welcome to Brookshire.
For instance, the mayor's salary is going to get dropped to $100. That's nowhere in here. In fact, it says, as it's the policy now, council sets the mayor
Yeah.
and council's
Mhm.
compensation. So none of that's in here. And just for clarity, so again, once again, for public knowledge, once we vote, if we vote to take this before the voters, a copy of this has to be mailed to every voting member within the city or household, so that they have an opportunity themselves to read what is proposed before it's on the ballot. Okay.
And that mailing has to go up by, what was the date?
April 4th.
April 4th, and so we were saying that we would have to have a completed draft, or a completed charter by when? March, so roughly 1 month from today, a little more than a month from today, to have that ready to go. And do we have any other workshop scheduled between now and then?
Well, I mean, it's not slated. I mean, that would be up to.
Okay,
I think we probably need at least one more.
yeah.
Are we considering putting a copy of this on the city's website
Yes.
so that the public can look at it before the last public workshop to
Yeah, that's what exactly where I was going with this, is can we disseminate some of this before the next workshop and actively solicit public response to this, if people have any concerns or questions, so that at that workshop we can address them. I think that'd be important, yeah.
Mr. Sanders, you had something you want to say?
I want to add, just to give y'all like what exactly we were thinking on term limits, 'cause I remember that conversation very specifically. And the way, why we didn't put term limits in there, our conversation was, if it's the will of the voters to keep somebody in office, then it's the will of the voters. And that was where we left that. And also, if you have somebody that's doing a great job, I was about to say too much. And to strap the voters like that, that's why we left that out of it. Which is not, I don't know if that's any more changes.
Right,
I just wanted
right.
you to know what we were thinking.
There's a great book out, it's called Why Good People Make Bad Decisions. I don't know if you've read it, but it talks about one of the main reasons is that you get organizations like this, and when you get people that have been long-term, that can lead to some bad decision-making. You know, one of the best things to do is to get fresh eyes and fresh people looking at things. And if somebody takes a break and then comes back, that is a helpful way to ensure that you start making the best decisions for your community. That's one of the reasons I'm in favor of term limits, just because of that, you know.
I agree.
Well, I really like what we've come up with so far, and, I mean, to me, this is good enough. I'd be willing to take it as, almost as is, with a few things, minor things we've discussed tonight. You know, I would like to see us do at least one more where we've got this information out to the public.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I want this to go out to the public to be disseminated. I mean, obviously not the mail out, but let's put the word out. Let's let people know. I think there's an education process that needs to be, especially to help voter turnout and to help people come in to a good decision when they vote on this in May. I don't want people to feel like I don't want the population of Brookshire to feel like we sprung this on them from behind closed doors, I guess, is what I'm thinking.
Well, and just keep in mind also that the committee did draft this 5 years ago. So
Right, it's been around a long time.
it has been around a long time.
There are still people that are going, we're doing what?
And there hasn't been action taken on it. So I just want to clarify that for the public, that this isn't anything that's being sprung on anybody before that rumor even gets started, because this was done a long time ago. And to your point, Mr. Sanders, at the last meeting, it was a group of individuals that were appointed by council from all different walks of life, from all over our community. And you had commented, said that it was one of the, I'm sorry, I'm not going to quote you correctly, but one of the most rewarding groups that you were able to participate on, and that if we would want to know what the will of the people is, this is the will of the people. Our people in our community have already formed a draft, and it's been sitting since 2019. And it passed unanimously by council.
It
That's
also
correct.
passed unanimously through the committee.
Through the
right?
committee.
We voted on every piece of that, piece by piece, and every vote was unanimous. If it wasn't, we went back and figured out how we can adjust it, and then voted again, and all 10 members, every piece of that was voted on.
Mm-hmm.
Monique, you've been awfully quiet. You good? Okay.
Any other discussion?
No, sir.
No, sure. Unless you've got something to add. And not unless you've got something to add at this point.
Okay.
So one more go around, I guess.
10B, is that what we are then?
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to speak?
10C, right?
Traffic control devices.
Oh, that's further
He
down.
wants 10C, so, but,
Okay.
so we're on 10B.
Okay, we'll move on to, new business again, agenda item number 10. Letter B, discuss and consider approval to adopt ordinance calling special election on May 4th, 2024 for the purpose of adopting a home rule charter.
I move to adopt an ordinance calling a special election on May 4th, 2024 for the purpose of adopting a home rule charter.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Letter C, discuss and consider approval of installations of traffic control devices at a minimum 2 stop signs and/or 2 yield signs at the intersection of Fifth and Gresham.
So this was actually an agenda item that I think I brought up a long time ago. And I had used these two intersections as examples, but what was actually requested was that we could take an inventory of all the intersections within the city, and that if there were any 4-way stops where we didn't have a single stop sign or yield sign, that be addressed. And that was also due to some information from a current lawsuit that I guess the city was dealing with because of a sign not being present at an intersection.
What about, I mean, you wanna add stop sign and stuff, change, to some of these locations, and you have this, say, 6 in Gresham. There's, 2 stop signs, and the other 2 is basically like a yield, and we have the dip in the street.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a point of having to add another stop sign.
I didn't propose for it to become a 4-way stop. What I was saying is that the intersections where it's a 4-way intersection and there's not a single stop sign or yield sign, to add something, because even though the dip is there, I've seen people go flying through it.
Well, and just to be clear, Chief Hines is the one who proposed this for the agenda, not Alderman Neuendorf for this time, for this meeting.
Yes, I just mean that there was something similar
Right.
that was proposed like over a year ago. And what I was saying, I had used these actually same intersections as examples,
I
but,
just wanted Chief to be
Oh,
able to
okay.
speak of why he wanted.
so maybe
to
that's
put it on.
where I'm confused, and I'll take ownership of that. But what I had said was that maybe we need to look at all of the intersections of the city. Are there additional ones that also need addressing? Is that a yes?
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
are
mean-
they consistent? Because there's some that don't have a stop sign, but then the next intersection does. So, I mean, there's an issue with that in some areas.
Well, I know some people will alternate them so that it kind of slows you down on those, like, the long streets. So, like, for example, Fifth, you can go all the way from here all the way down to Kenny. And so if you do it every other block, it tends to slow people down. So I know I'm sure that's intentional.
And when you add stop signs and stuff like that to a place that's been without one for many years, you might have accidents.
You want me to comment?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Well, so being new to the city and not driving through the city, I think it really presents a problem for anybody who's visiting. You have family members maybe come in on the holidays, somebody that hasn't been through the city. I drove through that intersection and I'm feeling like, okay, something's not here, something's missing, because it's unprotected all the way around. So, I mean, naturally, what you're supposed to do, like even if you come up to a unprotected intersection, the ones I'm talking about, the ones that are on here. But like Alderwoman Neuendorf was saying, I mean, I would say it's an epidemic throughout the entire city. There are other unprotected intersections and/or intersections that aren't marked, or you drive up to it and you've got to look. You don't know whether to look to the right or to the left to see what street you're turning on, because it's not on, either it doesn't exist or it's on this side, and then you drive down the road and there's not a street sign here, but then there's a street sign on this pole. So there's no consistency. But I mean, just driving it in through an intersection, and I visited with the public works guys about that intersection. I was like, hey, are y'all aware of this intersection? Oh yeah, we were driving through the other day and thought something was missing. And then so it was my understanding that even this was visited at putting a stop sign or traffic control device, and then maybe the residents didn't care for the pole being put in the yard. I don't know.
No, I had brought it
But-
up. It's probably been about a year ago or more, maybe a year and a half ago. And what I had asked for was for an inventory to be taken of all intersections in the city, and then where we could look at them and decide how many signs needed to be ordered. And then it was never brought back before council.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea.
Like some of the
No, I
stuff
think
that was spilled
the only
on.
one I think got was Kenny, because Kenny had 3 different spellings.
Yeah.
But I don't know that anything else was addressed after that.
I just think it's irresponsible to have a uncontrolled intersection in the city, and those are kind of big. I mean, they're not small, and people aren't just, they're nice wide streets, and you hope that people are driving 30 or 35 miles an hour, but the ones that don't, and even at a dip, and if they're driving through there and they're in their own bubble, they're not paying attention, and they run through there, and then the other person coming this way. Granted, there's not a lot of traffic there because it's in a residential area, but again, like I said, for people who aren't familiar with the area, i.e. me, who drove through there several weeks ago, that's problematic, because all it just takes is that one time for the stars to align and 2 cars drive in there, and
I've personally
They have a
had that
collision.
happen.
Like
right
what
there at
happened
that
over here.
intersection,
Yes.
At Fifth and Gresham, I think, right below Brookshire Car Care,
Mhm.
where myself and we were both just going through there, and there's no stop sign, and
Stop sign.
we kind of came up and we both kind of stopped mid-intersection, looking around, and we're like, "Who's wrong?" And neither one of us were wrong. There was
Right.
no control, and
Yeah.
so I've had that actually exact thing happen right there.
And these intersections that you did point out as well, they're within a block of a park as well, and you've got kids that have been playing out there on a regular basis.
Did you want to comment, Mr. Saunders? Sorry, Mayor.
About my front yard. And Mr. Walton, so whatever you decide,
It goes on his side?
right, I'm gonna decide it goes on his side, or, no, I really just wanna recommend in the neighborhood that it's yield signs, if, whatever you decide. And so Fifth Street, east and west, there's no dip, that down there where you're talking at that intersection. The dip for the people that live in the neighborhood provides a lot of entertainment. People get
The-
going too fast, right? So that's all I want to propose, is that you consider yield signs within the neighborhood instead of full-on stop signs. It would probably slow my mom down too, but thanks.
Chief, what's the effective difference in traffic control with a yield sign versus a stop sign? I mean, do you see a significant reduction in accidents or any of those types of things with the 2 signs?
I'm not going to disagree with him.
He's
I
so
mean, it's-
excited.
Yeah. People that live in residential areas, if you get a traffic complaint and people talk about speeders or people running stop signs, it's the people that live in the neighborhood that are running the stop signs. So the thing about it is,
My husband.
I mean,
Me too. I live on 6th Street and we have 2 and it's
yeah,
just-
and so if we don't want neighbors complaining about their other fellow neighbors running stop signs, then you put yield signs in. That way, we don't have to worry about people coming to a complete stop.
I like it.
And that's why I said stop signs and/or yield signs, because that's what I noticed that in the neighborhood. But at least it'll slow people down.
I hope.
Yeah.
Can I request?
Just
we
concerned
take
about people
this
not
to
actually slowing down
executive
for a
session
yield sign.
to discuss a few items related to it. We take this to executive session, to discuss a couple items. Want to go ahead and do 10D?
Did you want to do that? Did you want to do that immediately or
Yeah,
just
this
move it
item
down the agenda?
specifically. Just make sure council's aware of a few things.
Next agenda item is 10D. Discuss and consider the purchase of new dump truck trailer for public works.
I put in your packet 3 separate quotes on trailers. These are created through the state on co-ops with one of our co-op providers, Northern Trailer. Basically, the dump trailer that we have right now, we've started our big drainage project leading up to our road repair that's coming in, with the remaining part of our ARPA money. Our trailer is 19 years old and we bought it used, so I really don't know how old it is. But it no longer dumps anymore, so I'm proposing that we purchase a new dump trailer to assist the public works guys. They've been using truck beds and the broken dump trailer. There is a significant, you'll notice between the second and third, there's a pretty significant price difference. The biggest, difference in the pricing is the load value on the axles and the metal width of the flooring, which does make a huge difference. So Texas Pride is a great big trailer, it's just not a heavy duty trailer. We've made it this long with the trailer that we have and we bought it used. We bought it used from an auction. We actually don't even have the tag for it.
Is it over 4,000 pounds?
Yeah.
Oh,
So it will just be used for scrap at this point.
yeah, scrap it because that's not legal. You'd have to,
No usable condition.
no.
So basically, the biggest difference in the pricing analysis between those two is just the Diamond Z trailers are heavy duty, more commercialized dump type trailers. So my recommendation is to go to the lesser expensive of the Diamond Z, which is $19,800.
We have no need for the additional load capacity,
I mean, we could, it's a.
but to date, it hasn't been an issue with load capacity.
It's a $2,000 difference. The biggest difference is the more expensive one, it actually hooks through the trailer attachment in the truck, and they can hook it to an auxiliary button in the truck, and so they can actually dump it from the truck without having to get out of the truck. And it's got a motorized trailer cover that goes on the back, so if they're hauling something that they don't want, to fly out, instead of tarping it, it's got an automatic tarp roller on the top of it. I mean, it's a very nice trailer. I mean, it's definitely get lots of use out of it, but it's up to y'all what you.
Do we have a budget for equipment at Public Works?
It's within our budget.
And what about the more expensive? Would it also be within the budget
Yes,
amount?
correct. All of them are within the budget amount.
And within what we expect maybe additional needs for the rest of the year? I mean, we're in February, and I don't want to spend $2,000 of a $3,000 budget if,
No, we, in our, I don't have it with me, but we're roughly in our equipment line item budget, we have about $240,000 because this is our final year payment for our Gradle.
oh, right.
And then we had put in there for some additional equipment, which we've already purchased this year. So this is within our budget amount.
So is there some reason that you would not consider or want the more expensive?
No, I mean,
Trailer?
wish list, yes. I just, I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to see all 3 quotes if you didn't. Is it a necessity to have, additional conveniences? No. Is it nice? I mean, yes, it's nice for them to have some of those additional needs on the trailer. It's just, it's kind of up to y'all. I mean, yes, like I said, wish list, I would go with the more expensive one, but it's just my personal preference.
I just think if it's budgeted, it would be beneficial for our public works guys that we should get the nicer one, especially as we have, once again, the anticipated growth of our city. There's going
That's
to
what I'm thinking.
be more mileage that they're covering than, the Riverway development that's already requested to be annexed, and that's going to be more added to our.
Quite frankly, I've seen that dump trailer pulled around without a tarp on it, and I'm thinking if it was as simple as pull
A
the push a
button,
button,
yeah.
we might get a little less flyaway, so.
I mean, we've definitely used her for all she's worth.
And now she's worth scrap.
I mean, for the simple part of it, I mean, the tarp, how far are you going? That's another thought you ought to think about.
Do it.
For the tarp, most of the time it's just limbs or some kind of dirt or whatever. So it shouldn't be going that fast in the first place, so it shouldn't. But, I don't think you ought to use the tarp. I think we could just save that for something else.
So Jill,
Yes, ma'am?
As a citizen of Brookshire, driving a van full of students, a vehicle right in front of me, a little branch bumped out. I couldn't swerve with the van. I had to go over the little branch that popped out. So covering tarp, I think, would actually be a safe thing. It ripped out the other side, and a brand new van ended up in the shop for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I've seen that trailer when they're doing limb pickup and they're driving down the street and they take off and it's little branches and leaves just come flying out of the back of that thing. And so,
I think even if it's just this, they're picking up small things, or they're picking up large things or whatever, if you have the tarp available and it just becomes a part of your standard operating procedure to always close it, then you reduce the risks of the what ifs,
yeah.
which could in turn reduce the liability on the city. And that's always a good thing.
I would agree.
Any more discussion?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve a purchase of a new dump trailer for Public Works with the trailer place recommendation for the 2024 Diamond Seed dump trailer with a list price of $21,300.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. I guess we caught back up to where we need to
Mayor, do
be.
you want to do council and staff reports before we go into executive?
Yeah, that's where I was going. The next agenda item is number 11, council and staff reports.
Anybody?
I do have a couple of things in my report. In your packet, you will see this is the first month where you got the new monthly financial bills paid from FundView.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you notice how wonderful it looks. So easy to read. I brought this up last, 2 meetings ago, but I'll bring it up again. We're in the process, when FundView did the merger from Encode, we knew that there were a lot of discrepancies, we knew that there were a lot of shortcomings, and to be quite honest, Erica can attest to this. FundView said that it was the worst encoded city financials that they had ever had.
Oh, my word.
For FundView. So we pulled last year's annual financial report, and the total revenues for the year reported were only $238,000, which showed the city was in a $6 million deficit. I spent last week going through all of our sales tax allocations from the comptroller, as well as all of our tax payments that had come in, and had to work with the accountant to come in and do some back-end journal entries into FundView to get our financial reports up to speed, so that we would have financial reports for this year. So we completed that last week. I have been keeping the mayor and mayor pro tem up to date on some additional financial, discoveries that have come out. Since 2022, we have overpaid in the amount of in excess of over $50,000 to the water district for water at Hovis Park. We've also been paying for sewage at parks that don't even have a sewage system. But those bills were being paid, it was never being questioned, and we've now brought that to light. At Hovis Park, we've paid for over 80,000 gallons of water at Hovis Park. If you left the tap on and running for the amount of time that we've been paid for that, that's virtually impossible. So So they have agreed to, our new comptroller walked over and talked with Tanya and had a great conversation, and they've agreed to work with our public works guys to figure out what the issue is there and look at some of that billing. But I did wanna, to bring that up.
You know, we have citizens that have complained the same thing, that they've been billed at amounts that if they left the water running in their house for the entire month nonstop, they wouldn't have received, they couldn't have used as much water as they were being billed for.
We've actually contacted our engineer about it because, just, it's one of his specialties is that if you left the faucet running, every faucet at Phyllis Park, it still wouldn't be possible to accumulate that much excess gallons.
I said, we've had citizens with the same complaint, so it's apparently an issue.
Currently in the process of migrating over our phone and internet service. As y'all know, the internet here is not great, but I just wanted to bring up that roughly our current bill with Consolidated Communications for phone and internet service this month was $8,000. We've gotten a new quote for a new company that we're now under contract with for our phone system, that our phones alone, we were being charged over $4,000 for. The new company, that rate is coming in at about $1,200. And we've gone out to bid for internet services, and we're looking at that, and again, we're looking at the $1,200 to $1,800 range for high-speed fiber, which we are not currently on. So we have that, and we've also been renting at the PD. We've been renting 35 phones at the police department. Now we even have 35 phones there. So we've been paying for those. We've identified 2 commercial grade printers that have been on lease by previous employees of the city of Brookshire. Those printers do not exist here. We cannot find them. We don't know where they are.
Aren't those the ones that we discussed almost 2 years ago as a council that their lease needed to be terminated and returned?
$1,000.
Fantastic.
The lessor of those items has no record of them?
The serial number, that they were delivered, who signed for the deliveries, those are no place to be found at the police department, public works, or at City Hall.
Yeah,
So-
those were voted on by council to have been terminated and returned.
So if we terminate the lease there, are they expecting a return of these printers?
They've actually been very willing to work with us. They understand the issue because we've been trying to locate the printers. We haven't heard any updates yet. No, they've been fairly decent to work with over it.
Okay.
We have finally completed all ACH payments through payroll. It's been, smooth transition the last 2 times. Our vendors are now doing ACH payments. Welcome to 2024 is really all I can say.
Is the staff appreciative of that?
Yes, very appreciative. We're still working out a couple of new kinks, but I can say that we have a lot more safeguards in place for our financial systems, not only with our physical financial software, just the transparency and the way that it goes through for approvals with Mayor Pro Tem. We'll now be, next week, they'll be implementing the new secure signature, which requires them to log into a safe, secured website, put in their own personal identified pins in that will allow them to sign checks. So it's so far it's worked great. But we do still ask people to just kind of stay patient with us. There's a lot of repair work that we're having to do, but I was excited to be able to provide y'all with the council financial packet this month, and it's very clear. You can see exactly who the vendor is, what it was for, what the amount was, how it was paid.
It's appreciated.
So I was glad to finally provide it to y'all because we've been talking about it for so long. We were able to kind of finally see what it would look, and the beauty of it is it literally takes 2 minutes to process. And the last thing is, we've been talking about.
Before you move off financials, has the bank transfer been completed?
Yes.
And the credit card transfers are completed?
No, we're still working on that.
Still working that?
The bank needed financial reports that showed that the city could afford
Oh, geez.
to hold credit
And the financial reports that we had show that we were $6 million
In debt, so nobody
deficit.
wanted to, okay, got it. And has the forensic auditor now been provided all of the material that
So we
he
are engaging the
needs?
forensic auditor. We have reason to believe after an investigation indication that there's due diligence to be done with the forensic auditor. I know it was requested in the past. Unfortunately, we had employees that were unwilling to work the process and provide that information for banking and whatnot, so we have re-engaged the forensic auditor to start that process. But this time, going into the forensic audit, we have investigative material to back up the need for the for the forensic audit.
Fantastic. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Any other reports? Thoughts?
We do have Carrie's retirement party next week. You each received an invitation, so.
Yes.
And that's when?
Lieutenant Carey.
That's
Thursday.
22nd, I think it is.
From 4 to 6. And the reason it's in council chambers is because we have voting machines being.
Right.
ordered.
46, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Is that open to the public? Is that open to the public?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else?
I'm not aware of anything. I have nothing.
I have nothing. Okay. Wrap that one up. Y'all said y'all needed to go to executive session. We'll have to ask everyone to leave us in here during this time, and when we come back, we'll let y'all know.
Mayor, before you all, and I know Pastor, well, we could do a photo op.
Did who?
Before y'all go in executive session.
Sure. Like with all of us?
Can they do?
Yeah.
With us, or you just wanted her somewhere? Who did you want in the photo?
Well, everybody's welcome to be in the photo.
You gotta warn me next time.
That's okay. History, when you take it, you're like, okay.
Somebody's like, who is that? Who is that hot mess on the left?
Cause I get to drop my baby off in the back.
He tell me every day.
Always, like I can be in.
And he probably ran up to you and gave you a big old hug if he could have.
He's not allowed to run out the door.
Oh, okay.
Remind me like.
No, you gonna say me so I'm taking off.
Coming, she's off that Friday.
It's off.
She got
I'm off
enough
Friday.
notice.
Can I bring Miss Laurie?
Like I'm off tomorrow.
She just emailed in right now. Put in my schedule.
Yeah, I had to. I had to
Says,
look.
I'm feeling sick on March 1st.
I'm physically off. Like literally, I'm off.
Off, like not
Yeah,
on
I'm
call.
off. I'm not on. I'm not on
That little
call.
dot mean you're off?
No, I just know that by the way I did my schedule.
Until
So.
somebody calls in sick.
See, this is you. Why you drink?
Why did you just
Why
jinx
would
that?
you say that?
Why would you just do that?
You can't say stuff like that. That stuff happened.
She's passing out vitamins to all of her
Are we
employees
live?
tomorrow.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, it is now 8:34. It's back in whatever. And no discussion from the executive session. And agenda item number 12 is adjournment.
Do we need to move to table 10C? No? Just take no action?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, the adjourned person isn't here. I was like, oh.